Hello, everybody. Yeah, 37 minutes late. It's all my fault. You can't blame me. See, I had to take the time, go and find what I'm going to wear before I come and sit next to this amazing woman, and it all took time. My apologize. But from next week, we are going to change the time to 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time and 9 p.m. GMT so that all of us can relax, sit down, lie comfortably in your bed, and then listen to this before you go to bed, hoping that it inspires you to start your new week full of energy, excitement, and approach your whole life from a different perspective. I don't want to talk too much. My sister doesn't have time. So, without any further ado, I'm just going to leave the floor to her as we discuss another very important element in our personal development journey, which is nothing other than self empowerment. My sister is going to be using stories and illustrations that are out there on social media that many of us are fully aware of. Some of the issues have already even talked about on this platform. So when she mentions them, you guys can relate to it and how we're drawing self empowerment from these headlines. So, my sister, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me,
The
Sika?
floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Sika. Before we start, we want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone around the world. We want to
Mm,
thank you for joining us this evening.
yes.
Please share. Please send Sika some stars because nothing is free. Okay. Also, please subscribe. If you're already following Sika Educate on Facebook, please go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Okay. Soon we're going to do exclusively on YouTube and you don't want to miss out. So please subscribe to Sika's Educate YouTube channel as well. So today we just want to talk about why self-empowerment is important. Okay. Most often when we hear self-empowerment, we hear women empowerment, women empowerment, women empowerment. And we see that the world around us, a lot of women are getting empowered.
Mm-hmm.
And although women are getting empowered, guess what? You're stuck with these men who are not even empowered themselves.
Correct.
As a result, we see so many things that is happening around us where there's high increases in abuse. There is so much dysfunctionality in our families, dysfunctionality in our relationships, everywhere in our society. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so we just want to use this opportunity, just as we started on this year. We really want to talk about why it's important that we empower ourselves. And me, I don't want us to talk about it like in terms of, oh, women, let's empower ourselves. No, I want to talk about it where we, all of us as a society, both male, female, whatever gender you ascribe to, or whatever gender you associate yourself with, that it's important that you empower yourself. Okay. And I'm going to just use these three stories. So, three things happened this week, or three things I witnessed this week on social media. Okay. So, and two of them involve women, and one actually, they both somehow involve both a man and a woman. Okay. So, there's one with a pastor's wife. And this pastor's wife this happened in Ghana, where the woman suffered abuse, both emotionally, physically, sexually, where she now decided she's had enough as a pastor's wife, covering for her husband's misdeeds, his sexual immoralities, and all the bad things that in fact, I think he's a predator, right? That's my opinion, right? The way I perceive the whole situation to be, right? That he needs help. But the woman covers this up for 13 good years and now decides to leave. My question is, what was she doing this whole 13 years? Enduring, and how she also allowed other women to also be what? To be victimized. And how she did not see those women as victims, but rather she saw them as perpetrators as well.
Mm.
Okay? And then the second thing is about the lady. she goes to this conference or this symposium, and she says to them, women, this is a whole all women panel, an all women empowerment discussion. And she says, I'm a woman, I'm a married woman. My husband, he's not working. I'm the one working. And when I come home, I come and I see him, he's pissed drunk. But I will be the same person after going to work, come and take care of the children and cook. And then after, if I make any comments of how he's not helping or he's not taking any initiative, he turns on me and he starts to beat me or abuse me. What shall I do? So this is the other second story. And the advice this woman is being given is, first, she's being shamed. Second, because it's her fault. What she's probably saying is what is provoking this man to want to abuse her, right? Second, just because she's making money doesn't make her the man of the house. She has to know her place. She has to know her place as a woman. Third, she's being told women can be extremely mouthy. You know, sometimes we get so mouthy, especially if we're making money and the man is not making money. Okay? So she's being re-victimized. Okay? She's being re-victimized. So we want to talk about, so this is also the second story. The last story is about a man. He's a Hollywood actor. And this man, he's really, really popular. He does a lot of Hollywood. He's been doing Hollywood at least almost 30 years, as I can tell, because he's been doing it since I was a teenager, right? Yeah. And this man started doing social media, and the person he's doing social media, this person has taken on the identity and pretended to be his daughter, taking on that identity in order to steal from this man. Because the man doesn't know how social media works, and his wife, who he's married to, also doesn't know how social media works. So this person has been able to enter into their family, their source of well-being, their economic resources, and taking advantage of it. And this is a man. I'm talking about a man. Okay. So when we talk about self-empowerment, there are a few things I want us to draw from it. Listening to all of these stories, all of these stories, the thing they all have in common is that none of them are empowered enough. The pastor's wife who is being abused, she's not empowered enough for her to know that she can be her own self-sufficient person. She's not empowered to know that she can stand up for her housemates who are being abused as well along with her. She's not empowered to know when she is a victim and to identify somebody who's a victim and somebody who's a perpetrator. And she's not empowered enough to defend her own honor and the honor of her family and the honor of her household. Because if you are bringing people's kids to come and stay with you to help you take care of your home, you are responsible for their well-being. And if those kids are being exploited, whether they are young, whether they are old, that falls under your responsibility. She's not empowered to know what her role as a woman of the house is. And a man who is drunk and not looking for work, he's not empowered enough to know that I have a family. So I need to be sober in order for me to be responsible for them. And as a result, he's taking on his frustration on his wife, who is trying to help. She's just a helper. She's trying to help him, but he's not seeing that because he's not empowered enough to know what his role is. That's why I'm saying that when we talk about empowerment, we're not talking about the woman alone, we're talking about the man as well. Or the bread, whoever is helping to bring in the resources together, right? We talk about this Hollywood actor because he's not empowered himself enough. He thinks that his artist, his creativity has evolved over the past 30 years. But because he's not empowered himself to know that the even though I'm in this industry, the industry has evolved, and I must also evolve with it. Because of that, he's lost his dignity, and his economic resources is being dispersed in a way. He's being cheated out of his resources. So when we talk about empowerment, I want us to think about all of these things. And today I just want to give us a few things that I think we should be doing to help us to be empowered. So if you're a woman listening to us, if you're a young girl listening to us, no matter where you are in your life, whether you're a business owner, whether you aspire to be a business owner, whether you were a wife, you're aspiring to be a wife, whether you're a single mother or a single father, there's something that you can learn from these lessons, right? And from this discussion. Okay. So I'm going to pause. Sika, do you have anything to interject before I give a few pointers?
The main thing that I wanted to talk about, and every time when we are blessed to have you here, I always make notes. The common theme for me and what worked through these stories that you talked about is that all the three people had lost themselves. There is no self-worth. They don't know their true value and what it is that they can do as people standing on their own 2 feet. Take this pastor, the wife. She didn't realize that, on my own, if I sing for this man to bring his church up, then it means that I can actually have my own music brand and call myself by my own name and be able to sing for myself. Look at Diana Hamilton. Is she riding on her husband? The husband, I hear, is a doctor or something. Is she riding on the husband? No, she has her own brand as Diana Hamilton.
And she herself, I learned she's a nurse as well. I learned she herself is a nurse as well.
Exactly. And then she has her clothing line, all of which is bringing her money. So there's Diana Hamilton as a person, and then she's somebody else's wife. That is the point that I am raising for a lot of us women, especially us women. We always want to ride as if without your husband, you are not an individual on your own 2 feet with your own right, with your own identity, right? Many of us women have been raised to think that our only sole purpose on the surface of this planet is to be born, be taught how to serve a man and cook for him and clean for him and be his everything, his baby making machine, his entertainment in the bedstead and all of that, but nothing to teach you that God gave you 2 hands, 10 fingers, 2 legs, a brain to use to do things that are going to help you succeed and thrive, regardless of whether you have a man in your life or you don't. I'm not saying marriage is not important. I'm not saying having a partner or companion in your life isn't essential. But I have said this, I can't even know how many times I've said this, that everybody in this life, both men and women, who really seriously actually mean that they want to be in a relationship, are looking for people that can complement their lives. Nobody wants to come and take baggage and come and add you to their own problem. They are all trying to fix their own life. Now you want them to come and add their wahala to your own. Take the story of Mr. Ibu, because he's the one we're talking about. This Mr. Ibu guy has made some of us laugh for years. Why does this young woman think that she's able to take advantage of Mr. Ibu in this manner? Yes, he's talented, but has he done any packaging? Does he even know that he has a product that is worth sellable and worth millions, can make him generational wealth, that even when he is not here, his children and his family can benefit from that? Does he even know that? Who are the people that are around him? Doesn't he have a management team? Can't they see that there's something else that can be done? Look at Success and what's her name? Emanuela of McAngel Comedy. Why is this thing still going on? Success as a human being, she has her own brand on Facebook, Anti-Success. Emanuela has her own brand, Emanuela, on her own. These people all come together and they do their own productions together, but each of these people also have their individual identity. The point we're making here is that if God thought that you weren't enough as you are, believe you me, he will bring oxygen tank. You'll be conjoined to your husband or something, whoever you need to survive. You'll be conjoined with those people. But for as long as you're an individual in your own element and you're able to stand on your own 2 feet, it means that there is a plan and there's a purpose, and you're enough to be able to realize that dream and that purpose. And that is the premise of what we're talking about today, is that we need to begin to accept it within the core of our souls that I am enough, I'm adequate, I know who I am, I have value that can be used to bless this generation. And so regardless of what it is, from tomato seller to pepper seller to whatever it is, you sing, whatever you do, you look after children. A lot of the times, some of us think that it has to take only career and professional people to have a certain lifestyle. But I've seen people who sell bottled water, ice water, as we call it in Ghana, and have built mansion from that, because they know they have the product, they value what they have, they've packaged it, and people are ready to consume what they have packaged. So today the question is, do you know that you are a product? You yourself, do you know that you are a product that is sellable? Are you prepared to learn what it takes in order for your product that may not be refined, rough around the edges, package them and make it look sellable? Because when you're doing the divine thing that you have been called to do, the universe aligns itself to give you everything that you need in order to make that thing work for you. My darling, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Sika. So one, you couldn't have said it any better. And I think that this is something that we really need to bring it home. We need to bring it home to everybody, right? And as I said, for me, it's for all of us. This is the lesson for all of us, right? So the first thing really is the very first person we talked about, right? Her talent was singing. So what I want us to know is that one of the things we can do to empower ourselves is, number one, we have to recognize our abilities. What do you have? What do you know how to do? Write down your strength and your weaknesses. Once you are able to know what you are good at, then you can easily empower yourself to sell yourself. This woman was a singer, as Sika said. She could have built her own brand and stand on her own 2 feet. But because she did not recognize that ability that she had, she didn't think it was worth exploiting, right? So if you have a realistic understanding and you have a proper sense of what you have, right, then you'll be able to use it to your own advantage. And because you have that gift or that strength, you will now build on it to build the source of resources that you need in order for you to flourish. Because most of the time, people find themselves in these situations because they find that they have to be dependent on somebody.
Correct.
And when you are dependent on somebody, people react differently. Some people will allow themselves to be abused because they feel like there's no way out for them. Some people might turn to the bottle or to drugs, right? Because they feel like there's nothing in there there's nothing that they can do. But have you sat there and thought about, what do I have? What gifts do I have? What abilities do I have that I can also contribute to society? Because I'm a firm believer that everybody has something that they can contribute to this world.
That's right. That's right.
Even if you say you cannot do anything, you can clean the ocean. You can start picking up the garbage in front of the lakes or the oceans.
Correct.
So that the oceans will be clean. So that
Correct.
the fishes will not get stuck, right? In the nets and all those things and die. So even if you say you have nothing to do, you can go to the homeless shelter and help with, serving food to the homeless. Mm-hmm. So we all have abilities. Mm-hmm. So we need to recognize those abilities and use them. And once you have been able to recognize these abilities in terms of Istanbul, like Sika said, he's been in the industry for a very long time. He's a very talented man, right? All he had to do was increase his knowledge. Wherever you are, if you want to feel empowered, you need to increase your knowledge. Mm. In any industry that you are in, just because you want to go train as a personal support worker or as a nursing aide, doesn't mean you have to be a nursing aide till kingdom come. Mm-mm. If you don't have the extra, you need to try and gain knowledge.
That's right.
So that you can become better than what you used to be.
That's right.
Right? So you are an artist. You know how to sing. Maybe you might not have a record label, but have you thought about just uploading your songs onto YouTube, promoting it on social media by yourself with the little money that you have? It doesn't have to be big. Most of us, we are looking for something grand. Mm-hmm. We want somebody big to come and say, oh, this one is my manager. And they'll be like, hey. And that's where a lot of people find themselves in trouble. So, mm-hmm. You know, last year, this is just on the side, last year, oh God, why am I Black Sherif, mm-hmm. him and his manager got into it. Because you know what, when this little boy started, he had no idea. I don't think he ever thought that he would become that big.
Yes.
So the contract that he signed, I was even sad when I read it. Somebody released it on Twitter and I read it. I was so sad that how can somebody
do this to them himself,
right? So then there was like the fight between them. Why? Because he never believed him. Even though he had the talent, he did not recognize that his talent was unique. It was original. Some of us, we need to recognize our abilities. We need to seek more knowledge. If you buy a knife, you use it, you continue using it, what happens? It becomes dull, so you have to sharpen it. The same. So once you have to improve on those abilities, whatever learning new skills, the industry is changing, whatever it is, you need to evolve, right? Sure. So that you'll be able to take on all the challenges that comes and have different perspective, get different knowledge. You know, what are people doing? They might be singing a different music from you, but what else are they doing to make their music much more better? Mm-hmm. Right? The Sofumami, she could just be going, she could have just the pastor's wife, she could be going to church, even if she doesn't want to be on, so she could be going to creating concerts, bringing other artists together, performing, charging tickets, then she'll be getting money. Do you think that if all of these things were going on in her life, she will not become a victim?
No.
And she'll be exploited? Because one of the things that most of us don't forget is that when we allow ourselves to be victimized and exploited, there are also people around us who also get affected. Whether it be in our children, whether it be in our family, whether it be in our community. So we shouldn't think that everything in this world is all about us. Mm-hmm. There are always people who are also being victimized. That husband that's coming home drunk, and when the wife says something, he gets mad and start beating her. There are people and children who are also being witnesses to these abuses affecting them. So self-empowerment is very important. And the other thing I want to set goals. Draw lines for yourself. Set goals. Be ambitious for yourself. Nobody is going to be ambitious for you. The only advocate, you are your own advocate. Nobody will advocate for you because they're busy advocating for themselves. So wherever you find yourself, if you want to feel empowered every day in your life, Set goals. I'm not going to
Mhm.
talk a lot about the goals because we've talked a lot about goals this year, right?
Correct. Yes.
Develop a strong sense of community.
Mm-hmm.
I said develop a strong sense of community. I cannot emphasize this enough. You know, I was reading a book this week and the lady gave an example of Michelle Obama. Said when Obama became a senator,
Mm-hmm.
and you know how sometimes in life, and that's one of those things, I'm speaking to married couples here. If you are married, you are thinking about getting married, I'm speaking to you here. You are in a relationship, I'm speaking to you here. When they were married, the two of them were juggling the two girls together, doing
Mm-hmm.
everything together.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, Mr. wants to now join politics. So he joins politics, and then they came to a point where Mr. Obama will leave the house on Sunday and does not show up to the house to the following Sunday. Or he'll be gone and he will not show up for another 2 weeks.
Mm.
So now Michelle Obama now finds herself that she's the only one now juggling between her going to work as a lawyer and juggling running around with the girls
The
and doing all
children.
those things,
Mm-hmm.
right? And to the point whereby she even contemplated like what divorce and stuff, right? But one of the things that she realizes that I have community. I have my mom, I have my brother, I have my sisters, I have family.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't I tap into that community, that sense of community, to help me take care of
Of
these
my children.
some of these things that I need help with?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what she did. Some of us women, when we get married or we are in a relationship, we start cutting people off. You know, this
Tell
last
us.
series, we start cutting people off. You know, we don't want to talk to our family because our husband said don't talk to them. We start mistreating people around us. You know, one thing I learned from one friend, she says that don't be quick to cut people off. You might not have things, no, you might not have things in common with them anymore, but you never know what will happen. So don't be quick to cut people off. Yes, people are going to step on your toe. People are going to be offend you. Don't be quick to cut them off. Because sometimes some of us, the people we are cutting off are the people because they are challenging us.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're no longer allowing us to stay in that abusive relationship.
That's right.
Or they're no longer allowing us for us to play victims.
Yes.
They're no longer listening to us telling stories about how we are always the victim.
That's right.
So we'll cut them off. You need a sense of community, a community that challenges you, a community that pushes you to be resourceful, to be useful, to do things that bring success to you. That's a sense of community, not the kind of community, the kind of friends that you keep, that the only thing they want to do is gossip and do pull me down syndrome. People, they just want to talk, oh, let's go club here, let's go drink here, let's go and do this. If you have those type of friends, I'm not saying cut them off, just put them on pack. Because one day they might wake up and they might join you on your journey of empowerment. Don't cut them off, but just put them on pack. When you put a car on pack, you can always go back and sit in there and start driving it, right? Because there might be a day that you might need them, right? But keep a community that challenges you, a community that empowers you. Not that you have a bunch of friends, by the time you're done talking to them, your self-esteem is being it's in shatters. You don't need that kind of friend. You don't need that kind of community. So build community that affects you positively. Okay? But don't be quick to cut people off. The next thing is I want you to be assertive. Clearly communicate your thoughts and your contribution. It is important that you protect yourself, protect your mind, protect everything that is valuable to you. When you don't clearly communicate your desires, anything goes. Learn to say no. Learn to say when not to say no, when to say yes. Be very, very clear in what you want. Because you see, when we talk about this pastor's wife, she did not clearly communicate that she doesn't want to be in a polygamous relationship.
Mm.
At the same time, she did not communicate that this and this and that is that what's going on. It's only by the grace of God that she didn't end up dead, that she didn't die. So it's important, when she was going through the childlessness, she said she went from place to place to place to place to place. Where is the time for you to be working? When you know that the childlessness is not your fault?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you going from place to place to place to place? For what
and
reason?
doing IVF and putting your life at risk. Why?
Why are you doing that?
Why?
You see why self-empowerment is important? If you don't empower yourself, people will disempower you. They will steal from you your joy, your years of life. Like when I saw her picture, I'm like, she can't be this at this age, right? So it's very important that we empower ourselves. Our children are looking at us as a man. Empower yourself. Get yourself educated. If you can't, you are not a book person. Learn a skill. Start your own business. Don't be out there gallivanting, sleeping, and doing all those things and swinging women from left to right. Go and learn something. Empower yourself as a man. If you want to stand out, if you want to have a wife who loves and cares about you, empower yourself as a man. And be very assertive. Communicate your needs, your wants to you, everything that you want to do. Be very clear with it, so people don't take advantage of you, right? As this woman was, practice self-care, protect yourself. Make a conscious decision that you only want to bring about positivity into your life. Take care of yourself because you are worth it. Know your self-worth. Don't just allow yourself to be manipulated, easily tossed around. I'm like, some of the things that you see, if I want to start staying, some of us will go to, we go to this so-called man of God. They will tell you, do this, do this, do that. You yourself, the Bible says, do you know that you yourself, you are God? God has given you everything that is pertaining to life. So giving yourself self-care, knowing your worth, building yourself up, don't allow people to bring you down. We are all beacons of light. We all have something to give to this world. Nobody has come to this world that does not have anything to give to this world. All of us. And the last thing I wanted to say is that allow yourself to be creative. You can be like, you can be books. You can be like, oh, I'm a nerd. I only learn book. I don't know any skill that. If you sit down, when you list your strengths and your weaknesses, you'll be able to say, you'll be surprised. You'll be able to find some sort of creativity in you. We are all creative one way or the other. Maybe you might just want to write. Maybe you're writing, you just like to write just like somebody like me. How can you just like, maybe you just want to write like 2 sentences. That 2 sentences that you write, you can make a journal out of that and sell it. That is your creativity, right? You can also be, maybe you can learn how to cook or go and do shaving, go to a school to learn some sort of catering that you can learn part-time, maybe making pastries. Most people think that, no, you can go learn how to just make pastries, just pastries. How to make cake, how to make hair, how to make wig. If you go to a country like Nigeria, you see men that do hair, women's hair. Like, it's amazing, right? So allow yourself to bring out the creativity in you. And if you are so busy with life and everything, sometimes you have kids, you're so busy, find time for yourself. Maybe you have to pay for babysitter so that you can have that quiet time where you really have a self-reflection, right? That will allow you to bring out the creativity in you, right? All of these things, because if you do something, maybe you bake a cake or you do something, people start admiring and say, "Oh, Sika, this your cake is really nice." How would you feel? You feel what?
Good.
Good. And that good will build your self-esteem, and that will make you feel empowered. Oh, maybe now I can make this cake, I can start selling it, so it will be my side thing. I'll start having some small money. And that is how what you are empowering yourself. And I said, this is not only for women, it's for everybody. You lost your man, you lost your job. It's not the end of the world. You can still get up, you can pick yourself up, and you can still go and look for a job. There's no need for you to sober yourself in drunkenness. There's no need for you to sit down and watch TV all day and be negative and complain and whine. No. There are so much great things you can do. You can decide to get up every day, wake up, go to your locals, drop-in center, your local shelter, be there. Say, what can I do to help? There's something we all have to offer. And when we empower ourselves, we are also empowering others. So we shouldn't think that self-empowerment is something that we are just doing for ourselves. We are creating a community where our young men are looking at us, our young women are looking at us, and everything we are doing, what happened? You're also watching. That is why this man is able, because the pastor's wife herself, she was not empowered. The man was able to exploit her and also exploit even the most vulnerable people that she was responsible for, right? Learning. If you have to learn how to use social media, please do. Do, because if it's in line with your line of work, learn it. Pay somebody, watch videos, invest in that. That's all part of you empowering yourself. If only I believe that if this Nollywood actor, if he had done that, somebody would not have taken advantage of him. That this person took him away from his family, his children, his wife, and was exploiting him. So all I have to say to everybody today is that we should really think about self-empowerment as the tool we can use to really bring our self-esteem up. If we all of us are tapping in, both men and women, because I'm telling you, some of these men who are abusing these women is because they themselves, they are weak. Because if you're not weak and disempowered, why would you be victimizing somebody who is weaker than you? It's because you are weak now. You cannot contend with real men.
True.
Yeah. If you can contend with real men, why are you beating a woman?
Yeah.
So it's important that the men also empower themselves. Wherever you find yourself, there's so much thing you can do as a man. Your young brothers, they're looking at you. They're looking at you. Your children are looking at you. Your daughters, they're looking at you for their ideal husband. So you have to treat their mothers right. So they themselves, they can also treat their future wives right. I will pause here, Sika.
My darling, I just want you to wrap up everything that you've talked about today. We could be here to talk about this till thy kingdom come. The whole premise of what we're saying here is that know who you are. Like, God didn't just make people just so that they can just come and fill a void space that he didn't have any use for. Understand that you were made with a plan and a purpose for that making. And that is the reason why you're still here. There's so many of us. I started life with so many other people. Some of them are not here anymore. They're not here. They're not counted amongst the living anymore. What is so special about you that you are still here and they are not? It means that there's a task that you have to accomplish, which you haven't accomplished yet. Many of us have lived on the surface of this planet for maybe half of a century, and we're still not even scratching the surface of what it is that we were brought here to achieve, because we don't know who we are. And until you identify that true purpose for which you were made, you're just dancing around and dancing around and dancing around, right? You have the goodness in you. You have everything that it takes for you to succeed and thrive. It was never his intention to bring us here to live this mediocre kind of living. Mediocrity has nothing to do with God at all. He brought us here to succeed and thrive and flourish. So if that's not happening, then maybe you need to check yourself that there's something that is missing. Figure out what that thing is, and your life will be the happiest it's ever been, because you'll be doing what you were destined to do. My darling, can you wrap this up for us, please?
Yes, I just wanted to read the comments from Life Dilemma. It says, I think you should develop yourself and gain respect before you go into a relationship. With the absence of respect, be ready for abuse. And that is very vital. And thank you for reminding me. This was actually one of the things that I really wanted. I wrote that down. Women, and both know and men, you need to develop yourself. You need to make sure you are you know, one of the things that before, now it's beginning to disappear, whereby before you get married, they'll ask you, what do you do? What does the man do? And then the woman too, they want you to actually have learned some sort of skill before you both get married. That is gradually disappearing, but it's important that we have ourselves developed before we get into any relationship. Because most of all of these things that people face in relationships, especially abuse, most of it got to do with finances. Our finances are not in the right order. So there's always somebody who's looking to take advantage of the other person. And in the end, what happened? Abuse or breakdown in relationship. So it's important that we develop ourselves before we get into marriage or even relationship. Stop saying we are going to do 50-50. There is no 50-50, because there's going to be a day the person who is 50 will not be available to give you the 50. Then what are you going to do? Where are you going to get the other 50 from? Instead, think about bringing your 200%. That way, you will have 100% to save, and on a raining day, you already have your other 100% sitting there for you to use. That is the reason why I know in our Akan culture, when you are getting married, the list of things, I remember very well, sewing machine for the woman, right? And then cloth. So you, the woman, you get cloth and sewing machine as part of your dowry, right? So, and I remember I asked my grandma, I'm like, Grandma, I remember one of my aunties was getting married. My grandma, why auntie doesn't sew? Why a sewing machine added to her thing, right? And it said because one day she might need it to sew her torn clothes, or she might need it to sew clothes for her children, right? So our traditions, they have meaning. Let's not abandon them. Empowerment only comes when we're ready to put in the work. We're ready to learn. We're able to discern the wisdom that has been there for generation to generation. We shouldn't allow ourselves, both men and women, to be exploited because we refuse to empower ourselves.
Oof. They don't even have to say anything else on top of this. If you haven't understood this, then I guess you're not going to understand this. I just want my sister in the last couple minutes to tell us about her nonprofit as we wrap up. I hope that this piece has been helpful. As you're going to sleep, as you're walking around this afternoon, if it's afternoon where you are, it's afternoon here, evening, morning, whatever the time happens to be, I hope that this message will begin to sink inside of you. Like, ask yourself some very profound questions and get the answers to those questions. In order to arise, pick yourself up and begin to move in the direction towards positive change and improvement in every area of your life. My sister, we want to know about your nonprofit before we go.
Okay, so what I'm asking everybody for my nonprofit is, so my nonprofit is a nonprofit organization where we promote STEM education, mostly for Black children and Black youth. We had some nice coding session yesterday when the kids created some really fun games, and we want to continue to do that. So what you can all do to support us is you can go to our Facebook page, AEJF Canada. Please like our page on Facebook and on Instagram. And if you're listening to us and you live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and you have children between the ages of 8 and 12, we are having coding workshop every Saturday at 2 o'clock. Please, you can send us an email, info@aejf.com, or you can email Sika, get information, and register your children. We want our children to be equipped for the jobs of tomorrow. This is how we are also empowering them so that when they go out there, they'll be in the same level as their counterparts, okay? We want to give them the skills, we want to empower them, we want them to engage in self-development at a very young age. So if you're listening to us, then I know that Sika is aejf.ca. Sorry, okay. I don't know why it's .com. It's .ca. So info@aejf.ca. So if you also want to develop your children, this is one avenue. Last time we also had a session. We have a lot of things happening. So follow us on social media so that you yourself can register for some of our classes that we're going to be having for adults, okay? And then also register your children. Learn along with them. Don't sit at home watching things that will not empower you, things that are not adding value. Please, let also be cautious, the things we are doing now with our children and the things we're encouraging them to do. So we don't want our children to be doing YouTube, sitting there playing all day, all night. You can dedicate 1.5 hours every Saturday. Bring your child. Please bring them and let them come and learn something. Okay, we're really doing really nice, exciting things. And I want your child to be part of it. So thank you. And please subscribe, share, and download Tap Send. And please use Sika's code. Please pass this information on. Let your friends listen to it. Do parties and let them listen to it. Form groups within your community because we want to build that community that's part of the lessons we learned today. Community that challenges you. Community that makes you feel empowered, that takes you to the next level of your life. You know, the Bible says that we should occupy till he comes. So this is how you also occupy. Okay? Thank you all. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you so much, my darling. Guys, we don't have anything else to say. Have a fantastic Sunday and the rest of the week ahead. May everything you touch turn to gold. Just because you've decided that you're going to take a product, being yourself, and make yourself marketable. Do something with yourself. You know what you love to do. And become the person that you were destined to be. I love you so much. Happy Monday for those of you who have Monday already. Enjoy the week for those of you that are yet to see the week. God bless us all. Thank you so much. Thank you, my sister Ikuamwa. God bless you. God bless you for coming week after week, week after week. Thank you. We love you.
Thank you.
We love you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, guys. Bye bye.